Yes, I am hooked on Repashy foods. Coming up, a little bit on Repashy, why I like it, and how to prepare it for your fish right now. All right, folks, so for those of you who are not familiar with Repashy food, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Repashy, let you know what problem it solved for me, because it really did, and then we're going to do some cooking in my nice, clean, now kitchen with Repashy. Now, these are the smallest bottles that they sell. These are the 3-ounce bottles, but a lot goes a long way with Repashy. It has become one of my go-to foods. I am hooked on Repashy. I'm going to take the hook out of this Soylent Green, which, by the way, it smells exactly like it sounds. But this is what I'm going to be making in the kitchen today. It's what I'm going to be using to feed the fish, and I'm going to show you how I like to do it and how I like to prepare the food. Repashy Foods, located in Oceanside, California, they make a wide variety of gel-based foods for animals, including freshwater gel foods and saltwater gel foods for your fish. Now, here's the problem that I had. When I housed fish with bottom feeders, if I dropped a wafer and the fish would attack that wafer before the bottom feeders could even get there. Now, I voiced my concerns in a previous video where I talked about dry wafer expansion and how these expand overnight in a fish's stomach. Now, that causes the stomach to press up against the swim bladder, and it gave me problems. Now, this isn't scientifically proven. All I can say in my experience is that my swim bladder issues usually came after these fish indulged in these wafers. Now, that being said, I love algae wafers. They're a great source of food for bottom feeders, and I have quite a few of them in my fish pantry. But I needed a solution where I had bottom feeders in a tank with fish that were aggressive eaters, a food that wouldn't expand so much in the fish's stomach if they got their little mouths on it, and that's what originally hooked me on Repashy. It's also a fantastic food full of great stuff for your fish. Wouldn't want to make a scented candle out of it because it doesn't exactly smell like a summer's day, but the fish love it. Let me take you through the food prep. What I'll be making for you tonight are 3 different types of Repashy foods, and what I like to use are these small Glad Tupperware containers. You can get at any grocery store, a couple of bucks. I find that they work the best. Now, currently I only have 3 types of Repashy food based on the fish that I house. They have very creative names for their food. The first being Shrimp Souffle. We're going to make this tonight for my red cherries and Amano shrimp. For your wood eaters, Morning Wood, Royal Plecos, Bristlenose Plecos. I do have some of this already, but my Bristlenose Pleco loves the stuff. We'll be making Soylent Green tonight. This is my all-purpose food. The shrimp love it, the fish love it, and the plecos love it. And finally, I'll be making a casserole tonight, combining the Shrimp Souffle and the Soylent Green. Now let's get to cooking. Now on the back of the bottle, you'll notice it's recommended to use 1 part Repashy food with 2 to 3 parts water. Now for me, 3 parts water has always provided a better consistency. When you open up the bottle, you'll notice it's in powdered form. You add water to that, and that's what's going to give you your gel. I like to use tablespoons as a measurement. On this first batch of Soylent Green, I'm going to be using 1 tablespoon of Soylent Green, level it off, and pour that into the container. I'm going to do the same for the Shrimp Souffle, and then make an effort at labeling my containers so I know what food is in what container. And after a little labeling effort, we've got 3 containers, 1 of Soylent Green, 1 of Shrimp Souffle, and the casserole, combining the Shrimp Souffle and the Soylent Green. 3 tablespoons of water set aside. I'm going to nuke this really quick. Now I could do this all together, but for video purposes, I wanted to do 1 batch at a time for you. Little time in the microwave, about 20 seconds, and I'm going to pour this into my batch. Now, a quick observation: the first time I made this food, I mixed the food in the water first and then put it in the microwave. I ended up burning the entire batch. My microwave is completely nuclear, and rather than spend the time figuring out what cookmatic level I needed on, it's a lot easier for me to just boil the water first, then add it to the batch, then mix it together. Now, what you get after you mix it is a liquid form of the food. This will harden and it will give you your gel. That was the Soylent Green. I'm going to do the same for the Shrimp Souffle and for the Shrimp Souffle Soylent Green casserole. Mix them all together and I will have my 3 foods ready. Just have to wait for them to harden and I'll be ready to cut it up. Now the hardening process takes anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes depending on how much water you have in your mixture. Now for me, using 3 parts water, after about 20 minutes when I come back to the table, the liquid form of the food has hardened into a gel-based form. From there I can take a plastic knife and cut the food up into individual cubes that I can later feed to my fish. Now for you animal lovers out there, Repashy, an interesting thing about them is they don't just make food for fresh and saltwater fish. They make gel-based foods for reptiles, for insects, and even exotic mammals. So if you have a lot of pets at home, they probably have a solution for you. Now what I like about the food is with these cubes, now of course you can do this with algae wafers as well, but I can cut them up into smaller pieces so I can strategically place them around the tank, spreading out the wealth so that all the shrimp, plecos, fish don't all go to one cube and fight over it. Now that I've got it cut up, off to the tanks. Over to the 10-gallon, this houses my ottos, shrimp, and celestial pearl danios. Now even as I drop the Repashy in, you can see the celestials taking a pass at it. Now what they love to do is hover around a cube, let the shrimp and the ottos do the hard work, and any specks of food that come off that cube, they're right there to grab them. No wasted food in this tank, although I do have some algae cleanup to do. Now over to the 20, and here's where I had the majority of the swim bladder issues. As I dropped the Repashy in, this is how I used to drop the algae wafers in that were intended for my bottom feeders. The mollies would get on the food so quickly and eat so much of it so quickly, I suspect, and again this isn't scientific, but I suspect that algae wafer expanded in their stomach, pressed up against their swim bladder, and this is where I had the issues. I haven't had those same kind of issues since using Repashy. Now I love cutting this food up, I love putting it strategically in the tank, and I do it for this reason. These ottos, well, they like a cube all to themselves. So as you watch my guys eat dinner, that's a little bit about Repashy, why I like it, the problem that it seems to have solved for me, and how I like to prepare it. It's enjoyed by all, my plecos, my mollies, the shrimp, the celestials, the ottos, even the assassin snails get in on the action, the only time I ever see them move quickly. Now once you make your batches, you can store this in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. Folks, thank you for watching. For future content, please like, comment, and subscribe. We are definitely hooked on Repashy here. Hope this video was of help to you.